It's round 3 of the Citroen Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, the Cartel.ie Rally of the Lakes. And these are the big players. Gareth McHale, the championship leader. Tim McNulty, desperate for a win. Craig Breen requiring confidence repair. And Alistair Fisher, who led the circuit in a Group N car. McHale and McGarity have been the winners, McNulty the pace setter, and Aaron McHale's consistency is bringing rewards. Now we're in the Kingdom of Kerry, a truly beautiful part of our land. And the hills are alive with snappers as the great free speed circus comes to the people, and the people come out in their thousands to enjoy it. This weekend we're in the southwest, in the land of lakes and mountains that have made this part of Ireland a world-renowned destination. Killarney appeals to all. Its outstanding natural beauty attracts the leisurely travellers, and the more active can enjoy the pure air and endless trails in the green gym of the Carrantoul mountain range. Sleepy Killarney awakes to the rumble of the rallying elite on this Saturday morning of the May Bank holiday weekend, and at number 1 it's the high-spirited 2-times winner Tim McNulty from County Meath and his far from wide-awake co-driver Paul Carley from Sligo.
Killarney is one of my favourite rounds, and great honour to be number 1 in Killarney after all the greats, you know. Number 3 in the trophy to go down a treat.
A little bit of disappointment after the circuit. Can you fight back from that?
The championship being short this year, I'm not holding out any chances, but certainly we'd definitely give this a go in Donegal and see where it lies.
The Derek McGeehan prepared S12B Impreza has had a major refit since the Circuit of Ireland, and Gareth McHale's Focus WRC is under new management since its circuit's malfunctioned.
No, we had a problem with the circuit in every stage, really, bar one. So hopefully we get a clean run here. Should be a good rally first.
As ever, the experienced Brian Murphy is on board to guide the talented young pilot. And talking of talented youths, Craig Breen got no points in his last Irish outing.
Yes, it was a blood of McHale, both big style in the Circuit of Ireland, unfortunately, and I'm on the back foot with regards to this championship. So I had a lot of hype at the start of the year. I'm only kind of delivering so far. You know, I still have a lot to deliver. So no, I'm happy how it's going so far.
Craig Breen's Super 2000 Fiesta runs with the Group N cars, and with the bonus points available to them, it has evened out the competition between the production and the World Rally cars in the Tarmac Championship. Alistair Fisher actually led the WRC cars on the circuit.
Can you challenge the WRC cars?
I don't think so. I think the stages are maybe too fast for a Group N car, so we'll see how it goes.
Denis Cronin has an S6 Subaru WRC, visitor Paul Bird is making his Killarney debut, and locals Alan Ring and Adrian DC are stranded in Park Fermi following a fire.
Day 1, and the stages are mainly east of Killarney, with central service in Mill Street, and the final test on the opening day, a run up the world-renowned Malls Gap stage. It's a tyre choice nightmare again on the wet and dry stages, and Tim McNulty, as he has been on all the tarmac rounds this year, is quickest out of the traps. On the 18-kilometre Banard stage, he's almost 3 seconds faster than Gareth McHale, and on Shamrock Bridge, he's fastest again, this time by a sensational 15 seconds. But there's a reason. Gareth McHale and Brian Murphy are worried men. The Focus sounds good on the Banard stage, but when it pulled away from the finish line, there was a large pool of oil on the road, and sadly it was to be a very short event for the championship leader, who retired on the second stage. Craig Breen and Gareth Roberts are under strict instructions to bring the Fiesta home in one piece this weekend. Craig has made a conservative tyre choice, and full wets aren't good on these drying roads. Some may be wondering if the young Waterford driver has made the step up to Super 2000 too soon. He showed enormous pace in Galway, but his circuit accident was a big one. Certainly trying hard in this tight section, and having rebuilt the Fiesta, he must now rebuild his confidence. The kick car is back in 8th. Alistair Fisher leads Group N by almost 14 seconds. And although we can't hear him here, Rory Kennedy, who accompanied Alistair's uncle Bertie to many Killarney wins, has got to be of enormous benefit to the young Northern Charger. After 2 stages, Alistair and Rory not only lead Group N, but they're in 5th place overall. All the crews have major tyre dilemmas. fast, dry, flat-out tarmac, and then round the next bend it's the shiny, saturated stuff. Denis Cronin is suffering from the flu and his chattering Subaru's new engine isn't producing the power he'd hoped for, but the Cork man is up to 4th. Paul Bird and Kirsty Riddock are having a very bad Killarney baptism. The Focus has anti-lag problems. Aaron McHale has passed Cronin into 3rd, having ironically benefited from his brother Gareth's retirement. And Dara O'Riordan and Tony McDade are 2nd, having set 2nd fastest time on the 2nd stage. It's good to see Colin Murphy back out on the stages again, and the former Tarmac Group N champion has lost none of his speed. Limerick driver lies 2nd in Group N to Fisher after the opening 2 stages.
The morning may have been a bedding-in period, but next up is a Killarney classic, the 17-kilometre Gortnagan stage. McNulty and Carley continue to blaze their trail with 3 more fastest times over Gortnagan, Bannard 2 and Shamrock Bridge 2. The CFS Group Impreza has been fastest on every stage in the rally to date.
No, we had a good time in the first couple of stages and went fairly well. It was slippy enough, you know.
Gareth McHale gone missing?
I hear that coming into the last service, engine problem or something, which is a pity because, you know, people might say, oh no, that's the pressure off. The pressure's on now. The job is harder, you know, because you mightn't have to go as hard, but you have to watch your concentration.
It's a Subaru 1-2 with Dara O'Riordan and Tony McDade belying their lack of experience at this level.
Delighted now, it kind of the same pace through the last loop of stages. Was happy enough. Got through nice and clean, no punches or anything. So
You're right up there with the biggest names in Irish rallying and you don't seem at all surprised.
I am surprised. No, I just trying my best and trying to keep it between the ditches there.
Aaron McHale had been in 3rd place after 3 stages, but after 5 he slipped to 5th. All the McHale team's attention is now on Gareth's brother. But the former Irish National Rally champion feels that he's made the wrong tyre choice for the changing conditions. Denis Cronin has just not been on form today. The experienced Banagher driver and the uncle of the new British Rally champion Keith Cronin has only a 3rd fastest time on Bannard 2 to boast about. But he discovered a loose turbo pipe at service and things are improving. Alistair Fisher and Rory Kennedy had moved up into 3rd place after stage 3 Gortnagan, no doubt helped by Rory's knowledge of this tricky stage. The Group N sensation sets 3rd fastest time over the Gortnagan undulations, proving how swift this recently de-restricted production cars can be.
Sorry, stay in. Line left, 43 left, minus, stay in.
It's going well. Thankfully we've had a good run over the last 3 stages, picked up the pace quite well. We had a really good run over stage 3, Gortnagan, and we pulled some good time, so hopefully we can keep it up.
And points in Group N are exactly what Colin Murphy is after, but that bonnet lifting on Gortnagan must be a bit distracting. Aboard the Fiesta we can feel the confidence build by the mile.
60, flat right of a bridge, 50, flat 4 right.
The delightful little Super 2000 is fairly singing along as it moves up a place to 5th by the 2nd Mill Street service. The days of the Super 2000s seem now to be as certain as the passing of the world cars. And if this is anything to go by, we're not going to be losing too much excitement.
40, flat right of a crest and flat 3 left of a finish, 80, long 4 right.
Craig, not the start we would have expected from you.
No, I suppose I didn't expect it really either, but we just obviously the bang in the circuit of Ireland, made things very difficult for us this morning. Trying to get confidence back, and I'll probably sound like a scratch record now because I said the same thing during the Pirelli rally last weekend as well. I just don't have the confidence for the real fast stuff. Unfortunately, I thought I would have, but I just can't, keep a nail on the fast stuff.
A talented and honest young man, but not as yet in the top 5. These stages is the highlight of every Killarney rally, Moll's Gap. Who will take the Fisher Trophy for the fastest time over the 17.5-kilometre stage?
Well, with McHale out, I guess it's McNulty.
McNulty.
Oh, I suppose McNulty.
Oh, definitely McNulty. Alistair Fisher.
For Alistair Fisher, it would be a big ask in a Group N car, but it would be a fantastic result, as the trophy is awarded in the memory of his late uncle, the 6 times winner of the Rally of the Lakes, and Alistair has Bertie's old co-driver, Rory Kennedy, sitting alongside him. Derek McGarity has won the Fisher Award in the past. Austin McHale has taken the challenge when the stage was rougher and tougher and longer.
Miles Gap is a classic, you know, it's very abrasive, so you've got to be very careful. If you go in a soft slick or a soft intermediate tyre, you won't have much left by the time, say, you get up to Ladies View.
There's no room for error as you climb away from Muckross Lake, and then there are the amazing sweeps on the approach to Galway's Bridge.
It's definitely one of the big ones in Irish rallying. It's very fast towards the start, and it sort of slows down with a twisty section in the middle. There's a lot of rock faces,
where a lot of damage can be done, as Fisher and McGarity have discovered.
Well, Mols Gap, I would say, is must be one of the most incredible challenges for any rally driver in Ireland or even further afield. The Clarny Rally of the Lakes is synonymous with Mols Gap. It's really is a very tough challenge, and Alistair and me are going to go up there now in a wee while, hopefully, and we'll try and do what we used to do years ago. Like, we'll give it the full charge.
When they get to the gap at over 2/3 distance, they can be sure of a tumultuous reception. As come rain, come shine, this is the corner that you have to visit at least once in a lifetime. And those that have experienced the thrill keep coming back for more. It's dry for the solo 2010 run. Just one chance to take the Fisher Trophy, a prize which is almost as valued as an outright win in Killarney. Tim McNulty and Paul Kiley have to be the hot favourites, and they're not taking it easy as they approach Galway's Bridge at 1/3 distance. Their time will be 8 minutes 44 seconds over the 17.5 kilometre stage. Good enough to take the Fisher Trophy.
Fantastic stage, so enjoyable to drive. I absolutely love going up Miles Gap, and but I wish I had a harder compound tyre, but then we had no choice with the change of conditions, so that's just the way it goes.
The normally aspirated Super 2000 car should be at a disadvantage to a World Rally car on this famous climb. But Craig Breen and Gareth Roberts are doing everything in their lack of power to overcome this handicap. We join them as they approach Ladies View.
30, late 5 right, minus carry, 60, late 5 right, into part 3 left, continues, half tightens in.
They post third equal fastest time, just 10 seconds down in the McNulty Subaru.
No, really good fun, and it was great to have a proper go up in a proper car, and obviously the time wasn't so bad.
Their category rivals, Alistair Fisher and Rory Kennedy, are fastest in the Group N car by 7 seconds, but only 6th fastest overall. On the fast sweeping section along the shores of Luscana Lake, the Mitsubishi can really stretch its legs. These production cars are known to have good top speed. But they'll drop to 3rd position overall at the end of the day. Denis Cronin and Helen O'Sullivan have really come alive at the end of the day. Their S6 Subaru has a 1999 body shell, 8 years behind McNulty's S12B in development, but their time is just 3 seconds slower and they climb to 2nd overnight. Paul Baird and Kirsty Riddick post 7th fastest time on their first experience over Mols Gap, an experience that the Cumbrian chicken farmer is relishing.
That's the best stage I've ever done. It's absolutely mega. We should be doing that 3 times. You can see why they're all going about Mols Gap. I think I might get a tattoo with Mols Gap now.
Alan McHale and Eugene O'Donnell post 3rd fastest time with Craig Breen, and they are closing on Fisher. And Thomas Fitzmaurice will remember Fisher's Bridge.
Dad, I had the scariest moment of my life coming up the gap. The car broke away and man, I thought it was all over. I genuinely did, you know.
On paper, it looks as if it's all over, with McNulty now 1 minute 46 seconds in the lead. Denis Cronin has moved into 2nd, but it is highly unlikely that it can go any higher, and Fisher is 3rd, as they move to the west and north of Killarney for the second day's 7 stages.
If Mall's Gap is the holy grail for the Cartel.ie Killarney Rally of the Lakes, then the Cara Lake stage comes a very close second in terms of spectacle and drivability. The Gap was the grand finale on the opening day, and the 15-kilometre Shanara is the warm-up act for the Sunday action before they enter the awesome 13 kilometres of Cara Lake. It's looking like a Killarney cakewalk now for Tim McNulty and Paul Kiley as the S12B cruises along the shores of this beautiful ribbon of water with the Seafin Mountain in the background.
2 more loops to do, 2 stages and then a single stage after the last service. So yeah, we're driving on 6/10, 7/10, which is very difficult because you're just the concentration isn't at the same level if you're racing hard. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, 3 stages to go.
The mood in the Cronin O'Sullivan car is a lot brighter today. A win would be a dream, but at this stage it's surely an unobtainable dream for the quiet Cork man. However, Denis's tail is not only up, but out today.
The last 2 stages went very well now. No real problems today, apart from we got 1 stage right, tyre choice, second one was wrong.
Big gap to Tim, but he says he's at 6/10. Is it worth a little bit of a push to try and catch him?
Oh, not really. You went hold him up somewhere on the stage for a couple of minutes and we'd have a go at it.
Alistair Fisher has been beating the world rally cars again this morning. We climb into the back of the DMS Mitsubishi with him and Rory and race along the shores of Cara Lake to record the 2nd fastest time on this famous stage. 4th in Galway, 3rd on the circuit, and now 3rd in Killarney. This young man could be heading for the overall lead in the championship. Fisher is 2nd fastest again on stage 10. And he has to be, because Aaron McHale is in hot pursuit. The surviving McHale started the second day with a 10-second deficit to the Group N car, but by the end of the Sunday morning loop, Aaron and co-driver Eugene O'Donnell are just 1.4 seconds down. Craig Breen and Gareth Roberts in 5th have fluffed a hairpin on Shanara, and now on Cara Lake they set about reducing the 40-second gap between their Fiesta and McHale's Focus.
Three left. Flat right, 50, 3 right plus, sudden 4 left minus opens and tightens the 5 plus in water, maybe.
Craig Post 4th fastest time on the first run through Cara Lake, but times are so close here that just 4 seconds separates the top 4 cars. Colin Murphy and Don Montgomery have a bad run through Shanara and drop 15 seconds, and they're about to drop an overall position also. But they're 3rd in the production category, excellent considering Colm's lack of recent practice. British Superbike team owner Paul Bird is fastest of all over the Cara Lake stage. 6th place is quite a performance for a Killarney novice.
I got out of bed the right side this morning and I think maybe the stages suit me a little bit better today, and then my notes, I've just got a bit more belief in my notes. I hadn't driven for a couple of months yesterday, so I feel a lot better today, feel good.
And so with just 3 stages to go, 1st and 2nd look pretty settled. But there's going to be a real battle for 3rd, as only 11.4 seconds separate Alistair Fisher and Aaron McHale. However, you can never take anything for granted in rallying. And so we honour the top finishers. Tipperary driver Aidan Burke and his co-driver John Kinahan bring their Mitsubishi Evo 9 home in 12th overall and 5th in Group N. Danny McBride and James McNulty are 19 seconds ahead of them and take 4th in Group N. Thomas Fitzmaurice and Finn Foley get 3rd in the production category and 9th overall, the top Kerry finishers. A 3rd Killarney win and a chance to get right back into the Citroen Irish Tarmac Rally Championship battle is now so close for Tim McNulty and Paul Kiley. Just 36 stage kilometres are now ahead before the Killarney finish, and the sun appears to be welcoming the survivors home. At the Shanara hairpin, everything seems to be fine for the CFS Group Impreza, which had a 1 minute 37 second advantage at the start of the 3rd last stage. But listen carefully. Rallying can be brutally cruel, and the unluckiest driver in the series has to retire his car with a gearbox failure before the end of the stage. Tim McNulty has led the 3 rounds of the series, and now a hat trick of retirement is desperately hard for Paul Kiley and Tim to take.
Looks like the gearbox is gone. I don't know, just disappointing. Just came out of the hairpin, pulled 2 gears, no 3rd gear, and that was it.
The McNulty incident isn't the only late drama, as Colin Murphy drops 2 minutes with a broken brake pipe and literally gets passed by Paul Bird, who moves up to 5th overall. The English driver is getting the hang of the Irish stages, and we hope to see his lime green WRC Focus returning to the Emerald Isle in the near future. It should now be a dream second place for Alistair Fisher and Rory Kennedy, but they're under pressure from Aaron McHale. And the pressure has been too much. The DMS Mitsubishi crabs off the final Rockfield stage, having clipped a rock and broken the rear suspension.
Every cloud is a silver lining. You brought the car home even with the damage, and you're now leading the championship.
Yeah, we're leading the championship now, so hopefully we can build on that towards the end of the year and get some more strong finishes.
But Fisher's last stage incident has dropped him to 4th and promoted Craig Breen and Gareth Roberts to 3rd. Taking dropped scores into account after 3 rounds, the Super 2000 Fiesta would now be in the lead of the series. And don't discount the ever-consistent Aaron McHale and Eugene O'Donnell, who come home in 2nd place and score maximum championship points, as Denis Cronin hasn't registered for the series. They're now just 1 point behind Fisher in the overall scores.
But this weekend belongs to one pair. Ireland loves the underdog, and financially Denis Cronin has been in that position for all of his rallying life. This is undoubtedly the rallying weekend of Denis and Helen O'Sullivan's lifetime. It's 25 years since a driver from the region, the great Billy Coleman, has won the event, and Helen O'Sullivan is the first female ever to stand on the winner's ramp in Killarney. What a moment for this lovely and unassuming crew.
We did our first ride Lakes in '81, and I remember the club here, and it was just always my ambition in my younger days to win this rally, and you never know when your wishes come true, but it has this weekend, didn't it?
The Cronin team gathered to mark this historic moment, including nephew Keith, the British rally champion.
He's the one who got us all into rallying, so it's just brilliant for him. It's brilliant for us all. So, and hopefully he'll keep going now. Maybe he'll have the confidence, maybe to even come back and win it another time. So we'll see how it goes.
Going sideways with the National Rally runners as they pilot their tail-happy machines down the classic Killarney stages. And checking out the fastest front-wheel drive runners, including the Citroen Trophy machines, on the 3rd round of their championship. Drivers in the National Rally pursue the fastest times, and then usually it's a 4-wheel drive car, the home-built Subaru engined Escort of Killarney's John Hickey, who heads the field away.
Big rally, big weekend, first modified car.
Yes, hopefully anyway it'll work out all right. But we have the advantage over the others because we have 4-wheel drive in this particular Escort, but hopefully everything will work all right. So.
Phil Collins is the hot favourite.
The plan is to go flat out and stay in front of that young pup Barry Mead right behind us.
What about miles gap? Big build up for that.
Well, it's a big build up, and it's very unusual to do it at that end of the day, but it's great, we'll be all fired up and settled in by then, hopefully.
Phil heads off with his 2.5 Escort, and the similar machine of Cork's Barry Mead will provide the opposition.
Good to get a chance to go head to head with Phil Collins?
For sure, yeah. On a fair ground now, same engine, so let's go for it, yeah.
There is much competition between the homologated 2-wheel drive runners, where the top seed is Brian O'Mahony in the Clio Super 1600.
What's the plan? Maximum attack?
I'd say we'll wait till it dries up maybe. We'll just kind of feed our way through the first couple of stages. It's going to be very, very tricky out there when it's wet, so we'll just feed our way and see what we get on.
Martin McCormick is the first of the C2 Max runners.
My knowledge of the event's pretty limited, so we're just going to try and have a good clean run and get a feel for the stages and see what way it goes. It looks like it's going to be rain, but it's going to be showery and changeable, so it's going to be all to play for here.
Andrew Bush has his Super 1600 C2.
I think Brian O'Mahony is going to go very fast in the Clio. If we can get anywhere near Brian's times even later on the weekend, I think I'd be happy with that,
But it's going to be a short weekend for the Lisburn driver, as Dubliner Robert Barrable, fresh from his British C2 win, lines up.
Everybody, I think there's Mark Sheen has got his new car, Graham Colford, there's Marty, there's Mark Donnelly behind us there, there's Shane Buckley.
and whoever else is in the Citroens, I think it's going to be a long 2 days. So
what's the plan? Is this going to be a bearable maximum attack from the go?
As always.
Despite these recessionary times, the Cartel.ie Rally of the Lakes has attracted a capacity entry. They head for 2 days of intense competition, starting with the technical Banard stage. Shamrock Bridge, Gortnagan and Mall's Gap are all on the day one menu, as the Saturday morning crowd awaits the action. Surprisingly, it's Phil Collins who appears first towards the end of the Banard stage. And the Welshman opens up a 7.5 second lead after 2 tests. The Fubaru has fumbled on stage 1 as John Hickey limps off with a puncture. Barry Mead passes. Barry slots into second place behind Phil, the Cork man fastest here on stage 2. Ed O'Callaghan is a further 31 seconds behind in third, but is set to become a real entertainer this weekend in his very rapid 2-litre Escort. Killarney man Kevin O'Donoghue is an early 5th. The former Evo driver has really been enjoying his Mark II in recent seasons. Whilst local driver Charlie Hickey always enjoys his home international. However, Washington James in 7th isn't enjoying the Darien so much, as slick tyres on these wet roads are making the car and him very nervous. 13 seconds behind him in 9th, former historic runner Joe Connolly is enjoying his newly built 2.5-litre Escort. In the famous ex-James Cullen Escort Cosworth, Vincent O'Shea and Brian Hickey are a fine 4th in the national runners. Cavan's Mervyn Wedlock is settling into the Killarney stages in 10th. The 1600 Civic of Damien McCarthy is 6th. But firmly at the front is Phil Collins, and the Welsh driver with Belfast co-driver Stephen McCauley has opened up a 14-second lead after 5 stages over a hard-charging Barry Mead. Still, 14 seconds isn't a lot of time with the bulk of the rally to come. Ed O'Callaghan nearly ends his rally on Gortnagan. But he survives. And now he's 1 minute 29 seconds back in third. Vincent O'Shea is 29 seconds back in fourth, despite some demisting problems. Whilst Kevin O'Donoghue has moved up to fifth, just 3.9 seconds behind the Cosworth. Welsh visitor Washington James is sixth, and trying to get the power of the Darien onto the Killarney tarmac. Whilst West Cork's Damien McCarthy is really pushing the little Civic in 7th. Mervyn Wedlock is now 8th. With Donegal's Jeffrey Dolan 9th in his 2-litre Sunbeam. Jason McSweeney and Denis O'Mahony complete the top 10. But poor Fergal Allen doesn't make it completely round this corner. And Enda McStravich's woes are even worse. The crowd are as unsure as the drivers as to what the Skies are going to do, as they eagerly check the progress of the front-wheel drive warriors. Phil Collins still well out in front.
On stage 1, Brian O'Mahony has caught Mark Nangle's Subaru, but the Rapid Cork driver is second to the leaderboard as he struggles for traction.
Happy enough to actually just make it back here. We went out in slicks in that one and there was a bit too much water on the road for slicks, but we made it through and we're happy enough.
What's the plan? Keep pushing?
We'll see. I think these next 3 are supposed to be a bit drier, so we might be able to push a small bit harder, but we'll see.
Got a chance these slicks again?
Yeah, for the crack.
David Randalls is the next seed in his 2-litre Nissan Almera F2, but he's settling in gradually to the event. The pace setter in the early wet stages in his C2 Max is Marty McCormack, however, and he takes an important 13-second advantage over his nearest C2 rivals on the test. Marty and Di Roberts command a 16-second 2-wheel drive lead over Brian O'Mahony over the 2 stages, as the C2 Max suits the slippery roads.
16 right over crest, 2 left plus, 120, 1 right over crest, and 1 left.
Adrian McElhinney is an early 7th, but in some pain after injuring his neck during the week. For Andrew Bush, it's all over on stage 1. Cold tyres and a pace note problem.
Oh,
The There's better luck for Shane Buckley, however, who lies 5th. And Robert Barrable in 3rd is rebuilding his confidence on tarmac after his circuit crash. But Mark Donnelly will end his rally upside down on stage 3. On the second loop, McCormick is coming under slightly more pressure from Brian O'Mahony. The gap now just down to 8.4 seconds.
Conditions are very changeable out there today. It's very hard to make a good tyre choice, and Robbie's going very well there too. He took one stage he took 7 out of us, so we're plugging away there and having a good rhythm. Everything's going very well with us. We're having good times, and the car is performing very well. With one problem with it earlier on, but the guys just put this sort of straight away.
Although O'Mahony's Clio may have an extra 25 horsepower, its high-revving, less torquey engine makes it more difficult to drive in these conditions. Robert Barrable has speeded up and is now 24 seconds down on leader McCormick, but he drops 7 seconds again on stage 7.
The car's going well. I think just the confidence after the Circuit of Ireland might have just been a little bit hampering on the brakes, but apart from that, now we're alright.
Shane Buckley is next up, just 50 seconds behind Barrable. 13 seconds back in 5th is a pain-ridden Adrian McElhenney, with local co-driver another Shane Buckley. Now the challenge will be to see who is the fastest two-wheel drive runner up the famous Moll's Gap stage.
And once again, the Killarney District Motor Club have worked hard to bring the famous Moll's Gap onto the rally. The Saturday evening run up the main road from Killarney to Kenmare is now a much faster drive than in the past, thanks to much road resurfacing and widening, and it's to provide its fair share of surprises amongst the two-wheel drive crew. Man, he's finally got a drier, wider, more abrasive road for his little Super 1600 Clio, and he absolutely scorches up the gap. 9 minutes and 1 second, 13 seconds faster than any other two-wheel drive car.
It was awesome. Now, in fairness, it's a class stage, and I'm just actually, to be honest, I'm just like to get through the other 6 stages just to get here to do it.
Phil Collins is the fastest national runner.
Now it's completely different, but it's regained a completely new character. It's like Brands Hatch down there. It's fabulous. Great entertainment.
Also providing some great entertainment, Barry Mead is 3rd fastest national. He sits behind Collins and Vincent O'Shea.
It was definitely worth entering the Rally Lakes to do it once, against the clock. It was really enjoyable, yeah.
2nd fastest international two-wheel drive and fastest C2 Max up the gap with Shane Buckley and Thomas Maguire with a time of 9 minutes 25 seconds. Just 3 seconds slower was Robert Barrable, who in turn is 3 seconds faster than Marty McCormick. Marty and co-driver Di Roberts ascend the gap in 9 minutes 31 seconds and now command a 27-second advantage over Robert Barrable in the Citroen Racing Trophy Ireland event.
20 to 5 left. To 5 left. 80. 1 right to the crest.
Sadly for John Hickey, the Fubaru is on fire towards the end of the gap. But today it's been Phil Collins who's been on fire in the national field. His lead 42 seconds. And Brian O'Mahony's Moll's Gap charge has brought him a 30-second lead over Marty McCormick, with Robert Barrable still in touch in 3rd. On to the second day, and Phil Collins illustrates just how easy it is to make a small error. By stage 11, Phil's lead is a comfortable 50 seconds, but it all goes wrong on stage 12, just 3 from home.
On the last stage there, it was a left one over crest. The crest was a bit more severe, a lot of mud on the landing, ready for a right 2. And I just couldn't get her slowed up enough. I hit the bank, bounced up the bank. I thought we might have gone over. Got away with that up the road, still got gears. We're all okay. Just got her in here, took the wheel off, and the hub's cracked, the rear hub. And we don't have a spare. And it'd just be far too risky to take, if I got 1 stage, I might have chanced it, but not 3.
So Mallow's Barry Mead and co-driver Johnny Hickey now move into the national lead. They got over 2.5 minutes of an advantage over new second place driver Ed O'Callaghan. Barry has recently installed a 2.5 litre engine into the Escort. And he seems to be getting well used to all that extra power.
So it's not over, it's 3 stages, so please God, we'll keep it together now and finish. I think we have about 2 minutes on third place, so if we just drop 10 seconds a stage and keep it calm, we'll be fine. And the car has to stay reliable as well, so it's not over yet.
Ed O'Callaghan is leading the 2 litre Class 13. He and Ger Clancy are now second overall in the National. Vincent O'Shea is 47 seconds behind in what's now quite a rare machine on the stages. Whilst Damien McCarthy is still charging in his lightened 1600 Civic in 4th place and swapping times with the top C2 contenders. Marvin Wedlock has now moved up to 5th, albeit 2 minutes behind McCarthy, and another Civic of Jason McSweeney trails him by just 12 seconds. John O'Riordan is just 11 seconds behind that in 7th, with Jeffrey Dolan just 4 seconds behind him in 8th. Brendan Dennehy has his rare BMW Compact in 10th. As top 10 runner Washington James is about to drop out with suspension failure.
Back to the international two-wheel drive story, and Brian O'Mahony sets about extending his 30-second lead. Although he has some wider tests like Cara Lake and Shannara to play with, the grip levels, like the weather, are very changeable. He drops 4 seconds on the opening Shannara stage, but his lead has been dramatically extended to a minute after the second Cara Lake test. The Cork driver is looking even more in control. The new second place challenger is Robert Barrable. With 3 stages to go, he's half a second ahead of McCormick.
So we had a good run on the first stage after service, and he made a mistake on Cara Lake. I think he 2 spins, so we had a good tussle on the last 2 stages. Now there's only 0.1 of it in it, so
you've been quicker all day. Can you win this?
I'll tell you in 3 stages.
Marty's day started well, 1 second faster than Barrable and 4 seconds faster than O'Mahony on Shannara. But on Cara Lake, it's a disaster, or 2 disasters. He was lucky to get away with that spin near the start of the stage. But this one near the end of the test is even luckier.
Well, there's a good push out there. It's very tight, 0.1 of a second going out for the last 3, so we'll see how it goes.
Going well, despite a power steering problem, is Shane Buckley in 3rd, albeit a minute and 20 down on the leaders, but setting top times. Adrian McElhinney is 51 seconds behind, and his neck pain has improved, as has his stage times. Limerick's Mark Sheehan is 6th on his debut in the C2R2 Max, and he's 45 seconds ahead of Kieran Daly, who is on his 2nd outing in the C2s. Keith Parr is next up, but struggling with low gearing in his Super 1600 Corsa. Whilst Australian Last Molly Taylor is getting valuable tarmac experience. Killarney's David Randalls is piloting his rare X-Mark Higgins F2 Nissan Almera. Out front, Brian O'Mahony is clear, and the focus now turns to the battle for 2nd, which is 1st in the Citroen Racing Trophy. For Sunday runner Eamon Hanley, however, his Killarney run is about to turn upside down.
You're alright, you're alright.
They're okay, but it's been a dramatic weekend for Eamon and his hard 106 Peugeot. Kevin O'Connor wins the junior rally in his C2R2, and he would have been 3rd fastest C2 on the final test amongst the Citroen Trophy runners.
And 4 right, 150 to chicane.
Molly Taylor on her Killarney debut is 10th and 24th overall. 9th and 23rd are David Randalls and John Young. Keith Parr and Keith Moriarty are spectacular here in 8th and 20th overall. 7th and 6th amongst the C2 runners are Kieran Daly and Frank Curtin. Mark Sheehan is 6th and 5th C2R2 Max, collecting €2,000 from Citroen Racing. Adrian McElhinney is 5th two-wheel drive, 4th Citroen home, and wins €2,500. Shane Buckley has shown good pace all weekend, 4th two-wheel drive, 3rd Citroen, collecting €3,000. The fight for top Citroen Trophy runner is electrifying as Marty McCormick gives it everything through the final running of the Shannara test. Going into the final stage, he's 7 seconds down, but that one last push nearly ends in disaster. It's the deciding moment of the weekend. Marty has to settle for second in the C2s, 10th place overall, and still scoops €4,000. But Robert Barrable and co-driver Damien Connolly are now on their way to their second Citroen Racing Trophy Island victory, 8th overall, and another €5,000. 1 minute 11 seconds ahead, Brian O'Mahony and John Higgins finish a fine 6th overall and top two-wheel drive in the international field. It's been a good weekend for the former Irish Tarmac 1600 champion.
It's been great crack out there, although the car did struggle in the conditions, but we just had to do what we could, you know. So as soon as it dried up, we were a lot happier with the car.
You're probably confident enough about the front wheel drive thing, but did you expect to be in the top 6?
No, to be honest, I mean, we were so far back after the first couple of stages, I didn't think anything, you know. As soon as it dried up, we were obviously making our way up the leaderboard, but obviously there was a few people who had dramas, which allowed us to get up to 6th, you know.
The other winners, Class 1 honours, go to Stephen Carey and Mark Lee. Ian Hines and Martin Collins are the Class 2 victors, with Noel McCarthy and Aileen Kelly taking Class 9 with the Little Starlet. Mike O'Shaughnessy is the Class 10 winner in his Mark III Escort, whilst some of the most entertaining driving was in the Historics. Niall O'Connor is 3rd in his Cooper S. As 2nd placed Ray Cunningham gives the photographers a scare at Mall's Gap. The winners are Todd Falvey and Colin Moynihan in their powerful Porsche as they take the Shannara hairpin in style. Back to the national top 10, and Liam Howlett slides into 10th. Kevin O'Sullivan is 9th and first in Class 16 with his older model Subaru. Jason McSweeney and Denis O'Mahony are 8th and just lose out in Class 11 and an overall place to John Reardon by 0.1 of a second. Jeffrey Dolan and Conor Murphy are 6th in the Sideways Sunbeam. Mervyn Wedlock and Damien McCabe take 5th with their 2-litre Escort. Vincent O'Shea and Brian Hickey bring their Escort Cosworth home in 4th. 3rd is a fabulous end result for Damien McCarthy and Eamon Hayes in their 1600 Civic, whilst Ed O'Callaghan in his 2-litre Escort has been on the ragged edge quite often. He wags the tail of the Mark II to a fine 2nd place. But winners this time are Barry Mead and Johnny Hickey, who were fast and spectacular all weekend. It's a fine result for the crew from nearby Mallow on the Cork-Killarney border, and it now leaves them 2nd in the Modified Championship, with the next round in Donegal.
The crowds are out in force at the Donegal Hotel finish. A fine finale to a fine weekend of the Cartel.ie Rally of the Lakes as Ballymead celebrates his victory.
We're delighted to be here after our few moments yesterday, and I feel I had misfortune today, but we came on top, so we're delighted with it.
Barry lifts the Killarney Crystal this weekend, and next time the Citroen Irish Tarmac Championship heads to Donegal for the 4th round of the series.